Larry Bird is Caitlin Clark's grandpa? I have been told over and over again that Caitlin Clark reminds people of Larry Bird, so I had to dive into this and get to the bottom of it all. The hick from French Lick is old enough to be Sniper CC's grandpa, and they do have a lot of similarities when it comes to playing basketball, so it could be a possibility, but I am almost 100% certain they are not related. I made a video about Caitlin Clark a few months ago, and received countless comments saying that Caitlin Clark reminds them of Larry Bird. Caitlin Clark and Larry Bird might have played decades apart, but their impact on the game is strikingly similar. Both known for their unmatched shooting ability, court vision, and competitive drive, these players have redefined what it means to be a basketball legend. But just how alike are they? And could Clark be the next Larry legend? Larry Bird, born in 1956 in the small town of French Lick, Indiana, a place where basketball wasn't just a sport, it was a way of life. Now, fast forward, Caitlin Clark enters the world in Des Moines, Iowa. Another Midwest kid with big dreams and a basketball in her hands. Both played basketball growing up. Here is where it gets a little crazy. While Clark played organized basketball, Bird did not. They did, however, both play against kids older than them growing up. This is where Bird first learned to navigate the court and where he improved his basketball IQ. Clark did play organized basketball, but with boys and against much older kids. They both had an insane amount of drive and passion. Larry Bird's early life was marked by financial struggles, which motivated him to excel in basketball as a way to escape. Caitlin Clark, like Bird, was not born into a dynasty or well-known basketball family. She did have that raw talent and a relentless work ethic. Bird's high school career was nothing short of spectacular. He averaged 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 4 assists per game as a senior. Could you imagine watching someone grab 21 boards every game? As for Clark, she had a very similar stat line, all but the rebounds. Although she still grabbed a lot of misses for a guard, she averaged 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists per game her senior year in high school. Both became their school's all-time leading scorers. In a one-on-one, I might give a slight edge to CC, only because these two wouldn't miss a shot, so rebounds would be of no value. But it's not just about the numbers. These two players share a certain magic on the court, a way of seeing the game that's different from everyone else. Bird's nickname, Larry Legend, wasn't given lightly. He had an uncanny ability to make the right play at the right time. Whether it was a no-look pass or a clutch three-pointer, Bird always seemed to know what his team needed. Clark has shown similar instincts. Her court awareness is off the charts. She can thread a pass through defenders that most players wouldn't even see. And when it comes to scoring, Clark's range extends well beyond the three-point line. Sound familiar? Bird was known for his long-range shooting long before the three-pointer became a staple of the game. Bird enrolled to Indiana University in 1974 to play basketball under the chair-chucking Bob Knight. He felt overwhelmed with the large student population and dropped out after a few weeks. He then enrolled in Northwood Institute, a college that was much closer to his hometown. A year later, Bird joined and played for Indiana State University. In his final season, he led the Sycamores to the NCAA championship game, where they fell to Magic Johnson's Michigan State team. Despite the loss, Bird's impact was undeniable. He averaged 28.6 points, 14.9 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game that season. Caitlin also had a hard time making up her mind. First, she was committed to Notre Dame. Later, she changed her mind and her college career began at the University of Iowa. Her career has been nothing short of spectacular. She's broken numerous records, including becoming the all-time leading scorer in NCAA Division I basketball history. Boys or girls, her ability to score from anywhere on the court, combined with her elite passing skills, has drawn comparisons to none other than Larry Bird himself. But it's not just their on-court skills that make these two players similar. Both Clark and Bird possess an intense competitive drive that sets them apart. Bird was known for his trash talking and his refusal to back down from any challenge. Clark, while perhaps not as vocal, shows the same fierce determination in her play. One of Bird's most famous quotes is, "I've got a theory that if you give 100% all of the time, somehow things will work out in the end." This mentality is evident in Clark's play as well. She's often seen diving for loose balls, fighting for rebounds against taller opponents, and taking on the toughest defensive assignments. Comparing their college careers is challenging. The game was played differently during Bird's time. To come up with a winner, I took a few things into consideration. First, how long did each play for their college? Bird played 3 years and Clark played 4. Slight edge to CC. Birds are out of this world. He averaged 30.3 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 4.6 assists per game average throughout his college career. Oh yeah, he shot over 53% from the field too. Clark had very strong numbers also. Number 22 averaged 28.4 points, 7.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists per game throughout her career. She hit her shots 46.2% of the time. But I give the slight advantage to number 33 on this one. At this point, we are at a tie. I then had to look at overalls. I understand Clark played an extra year, but that is worth something too. With Caitlin being the all-time leading scorer and having amazing numbers on assists as well, I give the advantage to Clark. I did look at championship games, but neither won any. So with all of that taken into consideration, I give the very slight edge to Caitlin Clark. Come on! How do you expect me to put together any relevant argument on this? Larry Bird was drafted 6th overall in the 1978 NBA draft, and Caitlin Clark was drafted 1st overall in the 2024 WNBA draft. Larry Bird played 13 seasons in the NBA, scoring over 20,000 points, winning 3 NBA championships, being selected to 12 NBA All-Star teams, winning the league MVP 3 years in a row, is an Olympic gold medalist, goes on and on and on and on. Seriously, we could make a 30-minute video on just Larry Legend's accomplishments. Caitlin, on the other hand, it's simply too early to know any of this. With Bird and Clark having so many other comparable traits and accomplishments, one could only hope that Caitlin finds as much success in her professional career as Bird did. In fact, Bird himself has praised Clark's game. After watching her play, he said, "She's got it all. She can shoot, she can pass, she can dribble. She's got great size, she's just a terrific player." High praise indeed from one of the game's all-time greats. If we were going off of just draft pick placement, Caitlin would win this contest. However, being a professional basketball player is much more than just getting drafted. I have to give the nod to the Hall of Famer, Larry Bird. So far, Caitlin has 2 slight wins over Bird, but this is a too soon to tell, but currently monster win in favor of Bird. Overall, up to this point, I put the matchup even-steven. I promise this is not a video where I just end in a tie. A tie is like kissing your sister, and I am not about to do that, so buckle up. But what about their playing styles? While both are known for their shooting and passing, there are some differences. Bird was a forward, standing at 6'9", which allowed him to be a force in the rebound game as well. Clark, at 6 feet, plays as a guard. This means she often initiates the offense, something Bird did frequently despite not being the primary ball handler. Both players have a knack for making their teammates better. Bird's passing ability was legendary, often finding open teammates before they even realized they were open. Clark shows the same court vision, regularly racking up double-digit assist numbers alongside her scoring outbursts. Bird wasn't the fastest, nor could he jump the highest, but what he lacked in physicality, he more than made up for with his mind. Bird's basketball IQ was off the charts. He had an innate ability to read the game, to anticipate his opponent's moves before they made them, and to exploit weaknesses with surgical precision. Caitlin Clark, though a product of a different era, shares this same cerebral approach to the game. Clark's basketball IQ is evident in every game she plays. She sees the court like a chessboard, always thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead. What's fascinating about comparing Bird and Clark is how their styles, though different in execution, share a common philosophy. Both players understand that basketball is as much a mental game as it is a physical one. They've mastered the art of outthinking their opponents, of using their intelligence to create opportunities not just for themselves, for their teammates. In an era where athleticism often dominates the conversation, Bird and Clark remind us that the mind is perhaps the most powerful tool on the court. One area where Clark might have an edge is in her scoring versatility. While Bird was an excellent shooter, Clark's ability to score off the dribble, pull up from deep, and finish at the rim is truly remarkable. Her handle is tighter, allowing her to create space in ways that weren't as common in Bird's era. But let's not forget Bird's clutch gene. His ability to deliver in big moments earned him the reputation as one of the most clutch players in NBA history. Clark has shown flashes of this same ability, hitting big shots in crucial moments throughout her college career. This one is too difficult for me to score. Leave a comment down below telling me who you give the style of play advantage to. The impact these two players have had on their respective eras can't be overstated. Bird helped usher in a new era of basketball, where skill and shooting became just as important as athleticism. Clark is doing the same for women's basketball, pushing the boundaries of what's possible on the court. Their legacies extend beyond the hardwood. Both have become cultural icons in their own right. Bird's battles with Magic Johnson in the 1980s helped save the NBA, turning it into the global powerhouse it is today. Clark is doing something similar for women's basketball, drawing record viewership and bringing new fans to the sport. Both Bird and Clark have shown that true greatness isn't just about individual accolades, it's about leaving the game better than you found it. Bird's contributions to the NBA are well documented, from his playing days to his roles in coaching and management. Clark's legacy is still being written, but if her current trajectory is any indication, she will be remembered not just for her incredible talent, but for how she inspired the next generation of players. In order to score this category, I have to get a little opinionated here. Larry saved the NBA, but if we're being honest, Michael Jordan would have saved it a few years later. Bird got the NBA primed and ready to go for MJ. Caitlin, on the other hand, single-handedly saved the WNBA. Not just the WNBA, but women's basketball as a whole. Yes, there are some other super talented women's hoopers, but if it wasn't for Clark, we wouldn't know who they are. Advantage, Clark. Larry Bird's influence extends far beyond what he accomplished on the court. After his playing days, Bird transitioned into a successful career in basketball operations, serving as a coach and later as an executive for his childhood favorite, Indiana Pacers. Bird's leadership off the court was marked by the same qualities that defined his playing career: intelligence, humility, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. He became the only person in NBA history to be named MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year. Bird's ability to succeed in multiple facets of the game speaks to his deep understanding of basketball and his ability to adapt and excel in any role. Caitlin Clark, while still early in her career, has already begun to establish herself as more than just a player. Her influence as a role model for young athletes, particularly young women, is undeniable. Clark's presence on social media, her interactions with fans, and her advocacy for the growth of women's sports make her a powerful voice in the basketball community. She's using her platform to inspire the next generation, much like Bird did in his time. Clark's impact off the court is just beginning, but it's clear that she has the potential to be a leader and an advocate for the sport long after her playing days are over. What's striking about both Bird and Clark is their ability to remain grounded despite their success. Bird was known for his humility and his no-nonsense approach to fame. He was a superstar who never acted like one. Clark also exhibits this same level-headedness. Despite the attention and accolades, she remains focused on her goals, on improving her game, and on helping her team succeed. This humility, combined with their undeniable talent, is what makes Bird and Clark such compelling figures in the world of sports. This might be the easiest comparison of the whole video. If Sniper CC played versus Larry Legend, who would win? I would put all of my money on Clark. Bird is 43 years older than Clark and has a bad back. At least his back was getting bad later in his career. I would assume it still bothers him from time to time. Could you imagine an actual 1-versus-1 game? Bird versus Clark, each in their prime. Both are amazing defenders, great scorers, and have endless range. Let's break it down. Offensively, Bird's ability to score from anywhere on the court would be a challenge for any defender, including Clark. His post-game, combined with his lethal shooting from distance, would likely force Clark to stay on her toes defensively. However, Clark's quickness and agility could give her an advantage on the perimeter, where she could use her speed to create separation and knock down shots from deep. Defensively, Bird was known for his toughness and his ability to anticipate plays. He wasn't the quickest, but he made up for it with positioning and smart plays. Clark, on the other hand, is a scrappy defender who can disrupt passing lanes and put pressure on ball handlers. If I had to imagine a pickup game of each of them in their prime, huge advantage to Bird simply because of his size, physical ability, post-game, and still being able to play from the perimeter on offense and defense. Overall, Bird is the winner. He has just had more time to prove himself. Give Caitlin 13 years in the WNBA and an opportunity to do something after her playing career, and this could swing in favor of Caitlin pretty favorably. You can now see why so many people compare Clark to Bird. Heck, they could be related. They are basically the same person, several years apart and of opposite genders. Of all of the research I did, I found 0 claims that they are, in fact, related though. As we watch Clark's career unfold, one can't help but wonder, are we witnessing the birth of a new legend? Only time will tell. But one thing's for certain, whether you're talking about Larry Bird or Caitlin Clark, you're talking about basketball at its very best. And who knows, maybe someday we'll be comparing the next generation of players to Caitlin Clark, just as we're comparing her to Larry Bird today.